Like everybody else, I guess I'm gonna have to at least refer to Watches and Wonders this year because everybody else did, and for once, I tend to agree with most of them. But before we go any further, if you've seen this face more than twice, please like, subscribe, hype. Every little bit really helps the algorithm to push these videos to more people, and it really helps me. Doesn't cost anything to you. I really appreciate your support. I was really expecting Watches and Wonder this year to be very, very reserved. There's a war going on, two wars going on. There's kind of a recession fear hanging on the top of our heads. So I wasn't expecting too much, but companies, at least some of them, tried to bring some new stuff. I have to say that in general, though, I'm very disappointed. They are much more reserved than I would think. I'm sorry, guys. I know many of you love Cartier. I am not a big fan of Cartier. I love the way they look in pictures and in videos, but I've seen them in person, and they are not my cup of tea. There's only one that is my cup of tea and is not in production anymore, and that is the Calibre, that diver that they had back in the day, and I like all the combinations of it. That is the only watch that I really, really like, and they don't make it anymore. Nobody asked for a roaster. Nobody asked for more bracelets, more dials, more weird shapes, case shapes. I don't know what the target group is for Cartier, but they must be doing something right because they are number 2 in the world. IWC, very unassuming. I always like IWC, but nothing exciting there. Grand Seiko came with amazing divers in blue and in green. I really like those divers, but they have 3 flaws. Flaw number 1 is the material chosen. They are made out of titanium, and I know, based on everything that I see, that most titanium watches drop like a rock in the secondary market. People, in theory, want their watches light, but they don't want their watches so light that they feel they're not solidly made. So I think that as much as Grand Seiko tried to make that watch exceptional, and I mean it is, I think they chose the wrong material for it. Number 1. Number 2, I think they chose the wrong movement. Yes, the spring driver U.F.A. is an incredible achievement. At the same time, every time I talk to collectors and all the enthusiasts here, except for the die-hard Grand Seiko enthusiasts, most of you guys want mechanical watches, plain mechanical watches. So I think at the very minimum, they should have another offer, just as plain automatic. That would move the needle a little further. And last but not least is the price. At $12,400, that's without tax. Adding tax, you're looking at $13,500. For that kind of money, you can buy even a Submariner in the secondary market. And yes, you might have a good case to say that the Grand Seiko is a much better watch for different reasons, technical reasons. But I said this once, and I'm going to say this again. Perception, name, marketing is everything when we're talking on this kind of price points. And if I can get, I don't know, a Lambo for the same amount of money that I can get a very spec'd BMW, I will always go for the Lambo, because Lambo is a Lambo, BMW is a BMW. And it doesn't make it a bad car. But if I have to compare the two, name-wise, brand-wise, recognizability matters at that price point, and I think they're way off. That watch would be great around $8,000. That would be very competitive. It would be above Omega or most Omegas, at least the Seamaster 300, and it would be below Rolex, somewhere in between. That would be an excellent price point, but that's me. What do I know? Let's see if we see these watches in the gray market a year from now. Time will tell. Zenith did an amazing job. Zenith did an incredible job updating the clasp of one of the main contenders for my next watch, the Chronomaster Sport. And the Chronomaster Sport, one of the big flaws that it has, I said last time that I made a video about it, I don't like the clasp. It's really bad. It's very stamped. It's very plain. And then that 1/10 of a second hand, it just gives me anxiety. But at least one of the biggest, and probably the biggest complaint that everybody had, including myself, the clasp is now fixed. Now it's adjustable. Now it's machined. So it looks like a very, very solid clasp. I didn't see it. I've seen videos with it. I'm going to probably throw some here. And I think they did an amazing job. And it brings me that much closer to buying that watch. Rolex, I mean, who expected Rolex to be exciting? I think that all the releases are just nah. I made a poll about this. I asked you guys, what do you think? And basically, most of you said that 51% said it's uninspired. Uninspired. 27% said WTF. 12% said bad. And only 11% said excellent. And I don't think this is Rolex hate. I know when it's Rolex hate, I can tell. This, I think, is very fair. Uninspired is the majority, and I find it really uninspired, honestly. When it comes to Grand Seiko, I asked you guys, what do you think about the new divers and the pricing? And you said, good but hard sale, 34%. Seriously, that's Rolex money, 33%. I can buy a Seiko and go on a vacation, 23%, and only 9% said the best diver out there. So 9%. And I know that there are many Seiko fans here, and many Seiko fans actually answered in the comment, and they said, yeah, great watches, but too much money. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm off when it comes to this one. Last but not least, I want to talk about Tudor. Tudor is the young sibling of Rolex. We all know that. And you can expect them to have some similar traits, like design traits and other things, even in marketing, but they are not Rolex. So when they come with boring designs and minor adjustments to their watches, it's a bit too much for a watch brand that is not the most famous. Tudor is a very decently selling brand. Tudor watches move very well in the secondary market, but they move at about 40 to 50% off of retail. So for that to come and say, here's a new bracelet, or here we add another bracelet to an existing watch, and that's what we present this year, I think is a bit too little, honestly. And the only new watch, brand new watch that they presented, the Tudor Monarch, you would expect it to be something exceptional because it's their 100-year anniversary. But that Monarch doesn't look anything like the Charm Prince or anything. It's a mixture of other Tudor designs. If all the previous Tudor designs had intercourse, they would make this watch. And you would expect that to be good because you like your Tudor watches, but it doesn't work this way. And I think this watch is a great example. The same idea was happening back in the day with the European royal families, and they used to screw each other, taking cousins, brothers, sisters, whatever. So the fortunes and the fame and all the titles would stay in the family. And you would think that this would improve the DNA, but it really deteriorates it. The best example of inbreeding was King Charles II of Spain, where after many, many generations of inbreeding, he developed a very pronounced jaw that became a very standard for his family. Everybody could recognize that family from that jaw. That meant that they couldn't chew right, they couldn't eat right. And Charles himself was born and raised with many, many health issues. The doctors thought it was a miracle that he lived as much as he did. He died at the age of 38, of course, after a life of misery. And the inbreeding was all over his features. And unfortunately, I have the same thoughts, I'm getting the same vibe from this Tudor. And to be fair, I don't understand the fuss about the decorated movement on this Tudor. That Côte de Genève that he has is standard to many much lower, much cheaper level watches. My Mido is a good example. It has a bunch of Côte de Genève perlage blood screws, and it cost retail $1,300, and I was able to buy it for $350. So that is not good enough, not nearly good enough of decoration. But I guess the bar is very low when it comes to Tudor decorations, so I guess it's fine. It has a little bit of everybody's DNA in the family, but it ended up looking up. Let me know what you guys think about Watches and Wonders this year. What do you think about Tudor? What do you think about Zenith? What do you think about Rolex and everybody else? Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, ciao.